What a day for gamers. Why? Because we at The Zone have decided to claim today as the official Oz Gaming Day. Okay, today won't be huge. I mean, there's not going to be any major partying or anything this time. But in years to come, this day will go down in the annals of gaming folklore as the day it all started. So put your hand on your clack, stand up, scream and be proud, because you were there when Gamers Australia-wide claimed this day as their very own.
Oh my goodness! Coming at you on this very first Oz Gaming Day, we announced the winner of the Zone's Top 10 competition. We continue the EA Theme Park competition, and of course, the Zone's usual plebs and undesirables will be reviewing games like Aero the Acrobat, Marco's Magic Football, Landstalker, and Lone Mower Man. On the PC, there's Fleet Offender and TFX. We pack Janice off to the arcade for some time zone type madness. And then we do stuff like...
Yeah, like what?
Oh God, blimey, Charlie, I don't know. Let's have a zone speak.
Clack, 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 clack. It means what you're sitting on when you're playing games.
You're absolutely, positively, without a doubt plugged into the zone. We think.
You are now entering. We've had loss of signal now.
There's something very weird about a young lad who prances happily around town using his soccer ball as a deadly weapon. Marco is the maniac with the exploding soccer ball. The other madmen are the reviewers, Muttley and his real-life bro, Liz. Funny name for a boy, that.
To give Marco's a description, it would have to be a boy, a ball, and a huge load of slime. And with extra bizarre character antics thrown in for good effect, it's a whopper of a game. Now this is not your average style of platform, and nor do you have to be Madonna or Maradona, whatever his name is, to play it. Now, if you have ever had the feeling of wanting to kick a ball at someone or something really hard, then this game is definitely for you.
With the market currently being flooded with soccer sims, it is fantastic to see some originality in the industry. This is a cool animated platformer that is directed at the environment issue. Marco comes complete with tricks and even has boomerang action on the ball.
Marco's comes complete with a training ground, your backyard, and his soccer skills, including headers, kicks, and even bicycle kicks. There's attack slime and other uglies in levels from sewers to even more sewers. The graphics are large, detailed cartoon sprites blended into smooth, crisp animations with cool Mo7 programming. The sound isn't great, but then again, people has a game to listen to it. Overall, I give it 81.
The great scrolling, sharp picture guarantees enjoyable viewing, and the control of Marco just tops it off nicely. If you want to cash in on the World Cup but stay off the sports field, this is the one for you. 82.
You will love this.
Here's the best way to get the ball into the back of the net when playing sensible soccer. When you get the ball, give it to one of your wingmen. Then make that man take the ball up the sideline and bring him in about midway between the penalty box and the keeper's area. Now when you get to this spot, push A, or your shoot button, and watch an almighty banana kick fly around the goalie and into the goal. This little trick has about a 90% success rate, so get into it.
We're back in your face soon as we continue to celebrate the very first Oz Gaming Day.
It's Oz Gaming Day. Why? Because Adam said so at the start of the show, so it just must be. Now, Oz Gaming Day is a great idea that we thought of here at The Zone. What we want you to do is write into people like Sega, Nintendo, your local politician, and say, we want an Australia-wide gaming day one day of the year. Why? Because we can get expo shows in every state, so you can see the latest hardware, software, and everything. It's a great idea, so get into it. We'll be back soon.
Hey, TV that's...
We're now in the approach phase. Everything looking good. We're 3 minutes away from loss of signal. Still looking very good. You are now entering the zone.
I don't know about you, but either I'm getting old and boring or games are getting more and more off the wall every day. Here's a classic example.
Aero is yet another cute animal star of yet another cute platform game. This time our hero is an acrobatic bat who performs in a circus, and it's his job to entertain the audience while battling the evil Edgar Ector and his henchmen.
You just got to take a look at this dude to see that as far as platformers go, this dude's out to be the next Sonic or Mario. So the big question is, does the gameplay match up? Well, in a word, no. The level and overall. Now, having said that, all the other aspects of the game, such as the controls, scrolling, and the graphics, are perfect for this game, which means playing but I got bored real quick of doing the same things over and over again.
Apart from bumping off baddies, you'll have to perform lots of tricks, such as jumping through rings of fire and getting shot out of a cannon if you want to make it through all the levels. Aero is fun for a while, and will definitely appeal to younger players, but overall there's nothing in this game that you haven't seen and done before. It's quite playable and all that, but it's hardly a contender for Platform Game of the Year. Actually, to tell you the truth, I was bored before the end of the second level. I'd give it a 68.
There's a good base for a really cool platform game, so the only time I would buy Aero is if it was released as a sequel, which was more ingenious than the first. This time around though, I'd only play it if someone else bought it. 75.
If you saw the movie The Lawnmower Man and can't wait to get your hands on the game, chill for a moment. What you really liked about the flick were all the virtual reality bits, and you kind of hope in a pathetic sort of way that the game will duplicate the movie? Wrong. It can't. Not unless you want to pay a couple of $100,000. This, however, is not a bagging of the game itself. It might be super cool. Let's find out.
Having been a fan of the film, I was skeptic about anybody making a game about it. But the righteous dudes from Nintendo have taken an approach that makes me feel a little better. Instead of trying to recreate the impossible or make virtual reality scenes, they have made a game that gives many of the aspects from the movie.
The original Stephen King story had a naked, crazed loon crawling around chomping on grass, hence the title. Unfortunately, the sick chap never made it to the screen or the game. What we do have is a crazed loon wearing a tasteful glowing bodysuit, drifting in cyberspace, who's trying to take over the world. As Dr. Angelo, you must blast through real-world platform areas and fly through virtual worlds where there are obstacles to avoid and enemies to destroy. Ultimately, Joe, the crazed loon.
Being a SNES game, you would expect the graphics to be clear and crisp. And guess what? They are. The gameplay is good too, with two worlds being the domain for the actual game. But your world of reality is not that great when it comes to graphics and gameplay. In fact, you could say it's disappointing. Whereas the world of virtual reality, where the only barrier is imagination, is, well, pretty great actually.
The platform stages are really dodgy. Sprites are tiny and everything looks pretty bland. You tend to die very suddenly as enemy fire appears almost without warning. Some may say, oh, it's to beef up the challenge, but really guys, it's just bad game design.
The film was a huge, breathtaking explosion in graphic technology. Unfortunately, the game isn't, but it's not too bad. 78.
The 3D VR bits fortunately look a lot better and are more fun to play. The flying bits are very fast though, and will definitely take a few goes to get through. The music's quite good, but sound effects are weedy. Frankly, Super Metroid stomps on this game's platform bits, while Starwing does the same for the flying sections. For absolute diehard fans only, I'd give it 63.
If you're still in with the chance of winning the Zone's top 10 comp, then you're probably really excited right now. If you're already stuffed up, you're hoping a good mate wins so you can bludge the games off him, I don't blame you. But before we announce the soon-to-be-flocked with new friends winner, here's a reminder of the top 10.
They're big, they're bad, they're the best games to be released in '94, and they run this way at...
Number 10.
Tomcat Alley.
Number 9.
FIFA International Soccer.
Number 8.
Rock and Roll Racing.
Number 7.
Alone in the Dark 2.
Number 6.
Star Wars Rebel Assault.
Number 5.
Virtua Racing.
Number 4.
Jungle Book.
Number 3.
Street Fighter Turbo.
Number 2.
Super Metroid.
Number 1.
We have got NBA Jam. Get it?
Got it.
Good.
And to announce the winner, here's Muttley.
Top 10, top 10, top 10. No one guessed it. If we had a top 9 comp though, everyone would have guessed it. We've had heaps of people who picked 9, so we're going to pick a winner out of those people. Entries, please. Here they are. Cool, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw them up in the air and I'm going to catch one. Here we go. Oh, look, one landed in my lap though, and the winner is David Gonzalez of Hugh Street in Belmore, New South Wales. Congratulations, David. Now back to Adster.
And to my new best friend who's just won all those amazing games, congrats. You'll receive them in the mail real soon.
Alright, this game, Aliens vs. Predator from Capcom, is really cool. You get to have all these different weapons that you can pick up along the way. And
like the Super Magazine that I just got.
Like the Super Magazine that Adam's got. And you can team up with your partner who can be a Predator warrior or a Predator hunter, and you just spank all these aliens, except for when you're reloading your gun, you actually stop all the action and you can actually heat up as well. So there's a bit of combination of martial arts there, as well as and just spanking.
Like that one over there. Get it, Janice! Get it!
Get it! Yes, I got it!
Try this guy. See that? Toasted, that guy. I don't spank, I toast.
And that's the big boss up there, which we have to kill. I think it's pretty good value because
So do I.
it's
fun.
$1 a play or it's $2 for 3 plays. So you can get pretty far in this game and it's good value and it's fun. So Alien versus Predator, get into it, guys.
Okay, stand by for a Subterranea play guide. More Game Boy, Sega's biggest RPG game, Landstalker, and the sensational Flight Sim TFX. You're plugged into
Zone. They tell your music's too loud. Zone.
Hey Game Grommets, it's Muttley here. Now, if you've just got your hands on the new Virtua Racing for the very new, very low price, and you're bored of it already, well then, here's a way to spice things up. When the Sega logo appears, hit this combo. Hold up on the joypad, then press A button and hold it, and press B button and hold it. When you're holding all 3 things together, push your start button. Then you'll see mirror mode. Now you can race all the different kinds of tracks backwards. Cool or what?
With the sensational Super Game Boy unleashing its secret powers on unsuspecting ferrets all over the country, the Zone is no longer copying nasty letters from Game Boy fanatics. Hooray. Instead, we just punched Tim.
G'day, it's Jimbo here, and I'm back with some more Game Boy games. First up, Last Action Hero. Now, most Schwarzenegger games are pretty bad, and this one doesn't break the tradition. The game itself is okay, but the playability is frustrating. Arnie, who on the big screen can punch a hole in a brick wall, can't even punch out a little bad guy. Yet, they can deck Arnie with one punch. The graphics are good and the speed of the game is cool, but it's a pity about the gameplay. This one gets a 73. T2 the Arcade. Now this is a must for any and all Game Boyers. T2 looks great. The controls respond very well and the gameplay is extremely addictive. What you have to do is shoot everything on the screen before it shoots you. Sounds simple? Well, it takes a bit more than talk to get you through this game. You've got to watch out for attacking Terminators, big flying ships, and anything else that might shoot you, like this huge tank. Check out what happens when you shoot the backgrounds. Talk about demolition. The game's fast, clear, and very fun to play, rating it high on the scale with a big 85. Now this is what I call a groovy game. Battletoads is a fighting game as well as a rope-slinging, abseiling adventure that puts you up against the toughest boars, you know, pigs with horns, and other baddies in your quest to rid the land of evil. The graphics are clear and the controls are excellent, leading to a lot of fun throughout the game. The gameplay is also great and it'll keep you going for hours, or until your batteries go flat, whichever comes first. It has lots of levels and lots of other things to do. It is definitely a great game and a must-buy. It gets a 90.
As you know, I love flight sims, which is why I review so many of them. It's good to be the king. Here it is, guys. Tactical Fighter Experiment, or as it's been abbreviated, TFX. Why? I don't know. Probably because it sounds way groovier than TFE, which is just another example of the extreme lengths its creators went to make sure this game was completely on the case in every possible aspect. In other words, if you haven't guessed already by that little vibe up, I'm 100% in love with this game.
The problem with being a reviewer is you see so many games in such a short space of time, it's hard to get excited about one. But I finally did, and TFX was it. No, not a fancy game, no fancy intros, no nothing. Just a game, and a brilliant game at that. The sound and the graphics are great, and while the controls are explicit, they're easy to master.
The number of screen options available is more than generous, and some of them have to be seen to be believed, which is why we're showing you now. In particular, the flyby sequence, the variable missile views, so you can watch your enemy at point blank as you blow them out of the sky, and of course, the virtual cockpit, which, by the way, is the best I've ever seen. The silky smooth scrolling as you look around the cockpit is magnificent, and gives you such a perspective of height that by the time you're fully sucked into this game, you'll seriously believe you're up there.
Now, using a keyboard is cool, but if you get yourself a Thrustmaster or other such joystick, it becomes the ultimate experience, flying one of 3 hypothetical aircraft. And you can fly a stealth as well. However, this makes continuity a problem. But who cares?
The missions are pretty intense and can be slightly confusing for first-timers, which makes the arcade option perfect for shallow, impatient gamers who would rather just go kill something than talk about tactics, like Dreadhead over there. But it won't be long before even they can't resist the temptation of a night mission with a stealth bomber.
What else can I say? It's got everything a good flight sim should have. So go out and get it. I give it 95.
In the words of another sim I heard earlier on, it sucks not to be TFX. 92, and I haven't even seen the CD-ROM version yet.
Hey, it's Bev here with a play guide for Subterranea in Mission 3. Once you drop the first mirror on the truck, land on the platform to the right of the laser and press fire. This turns off the force field which protects the cavern below. Then fly back up, right, down and then to the left point in the bottom centre of the level. Grab the fuel inside and grab the mirror. Then make your way back to the truck. Once you're back, land behind the truck and wait for the mirror to stop swinging and for the probes to fly by. Then you fly up slowly and wait for the laser to deflect. It destroys the large wall on the top left-hand side. From there, it's just a piece of cake.
Landstalker is the most popular Sega RPG ever to hit the 16-bit console. More levels and labyrinths than most players find in a lifetime. Landstalker, 18 months after its release, is still, believe it or not, keeping the Sega hotlines jumping.
Okay, what we have here is value for the proverbial French brain and proof that the French can write legendary games. It's your typical wander around, meet people, kill things, collect money, solve puzzles type of game. Each labyrinth is fast and challenging, with one labyrinth alone being a huge 64 rooms within itself.
Landstalker must be one of the most popular RPGs or role-playing games that has hit the Sega consoles ever. Not only that, it's one of the most frustrating to play. Not being a major fan of RPGs, I don't normally become overly excited when I have to play them. But Landstalker is different. You play as Nigel and you're searching for the fabled treasure of King Noel, hidden somewhere on the island. It's challenging in all aspects, such as brain matter, coordination and strategy, not to leave out control, which is a major letdown of the game. The controls suck more than a Godfrey's man with his vacuum cleaner and a bowling ball.
So if you're into role-playing games and you are after a serious challenge, you don't mind playing as a guy that looks like a Mr. Spock reject with his very own fairy, then sink your teeth into Landstalker. I'm giving it a well-earned 87.
The graphics and scrolling are excellent. The sounds are okay, but they're nothing special. And the enemies, mazes and general play are tough. But the end is worth it. I mean, it won't happen instantly, but it will happen. So if you're not the RPG lover, as I'm not, borrow it off a friend. But if you're the game player that sits and plays for hours and hours, I suggest you get a comfy seat, your favourite foods, and settle in for about a month. 76.
Remember the Blockbuster Videocon we told you about the other week? Well, they're having their finals down in Melbourne Central this Sunday, so if you live in Melbourne, get down there and good luck to everyone involved. The 3DO, that's real news, mate. It's big everywhere around the world, and we at The Zone are going to get our hands on as many of the 3DO games as we can just to show you. It'll be heaps of fun. And speaking of huge consoles, the Game Boy, with their adapter that goes to the TV, makes it colour, all that pretty stuff, is selling like wildfire. 80-year-olds, 60-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 12-year-olds, and even a nun has bought one. What have I got here? I have got a letter sent to GameStar magazine, which is one of our friends, by a bloke who calls himself the Reviewer's Reviewer, and all he likes to do is complain about every gaming-made thing in Australia. Well, all I can say, mate, sucks to be you. But I'm determined to end this buzz on a good note, so I want to say hi to a fellow gamehead of mine called Monty. He's 8 years old and he is a big gamer. Also, his old man Paul likes to hog the virtual racing, so get off and give the kid a go. Anyway, I'd just like to say hi, and remember, I'm someone and you're not, or something I forgot. But hey, it works. Cool. Bye.
I don't know. What do you...
Weeknights on... This is the news.
World Cup USA 94 has kicked off on Mega Drive, and the fans have gone wild. It's as exciting as being there, but you control everything in the ultimate soccer game. Everything but the score. Tired of monkeying around? Then Jungle Book's for you. 15 levels of awesome animation and cartoons in this huge jungle adventure. It's gonna be bigger than the movie, so get it now. For all the latest hints, cheats, and walkthroughs, call the Sega hotline on 1902 555 444. And kids, get your parents okay first.
Hey, 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 gamers, this comp is your chance for you and one other lucky son or daughter of a beach bum to go to the Gold Coast and spend a weekend of roller coasting action at some of Oz's best amusement parks. You'll be flying on a big Qantas-type kangaroo and staying with the Flipster at SeaWorld Nara Resort. Can you beat that? I think not. All you got to do is name 3 rides that we show you each week here on The Zone that we have randomly picked from EA's brand spanking new game, Theme Park. The first one, which we showed you last week, looked like this. And this week looks like this. Stay tuned next week for the third and final ride of the Zone EA Theme Park competition. It's a ripper!
Hi, I'm Jo from GameStar magazine, and we got together with The Zone to bring you GameStar's Cheat of the Week. Our first one is for Sonic 3, and it'll give you infinite lives, so check it out. Go to Launch Base Zone and stand in one of those flashing light siren things that send down the kamikaze birds. Stay inside the thing so it keeps going off and do a sonic spin, but don't let go. Keep spinning and let the birds crash into you. After about 40 seconds, you should get an extra life, and after that, they start coming thick and fast. Keep spinning and see how greedy you really are. Hope that one helps you out. Next week, we'll be bringing you a cheat for Super Metroid, so stay tuned.
Poor F-14A Tomcat Fleet Defender. It probably would have been a groovy enough flight sim to get me all vibed up, if I wasn't still all vibed up about TFX. I mean, it's got a couple of interesting little gimmicks that catch your eye, like the inclusion of the pilot looking around as you scroll around the 360-degree cockpit view. And the water is done really well too. You can actually tell how close or far away from it you are just by looking at it. The sound is good, the graphics are cool. In fact, they bear a striking resemblance in look and feel to the recently reviewed Pacific Strike, also by Microprose. Wonder if they use the same engine, huh? And the multiple views are kind of hip. Of course, they would have been a lot hipper if they didn't jerk around like a thing that jerks heaps. It ain't the easiest game in the world to get the hang of either. And I know that's to be expected of a flight sim, but I don't know. It just ain't the polished package I felt like sitting down and getting into, you know what I mean? So if you don't mind, guys, I think I'm going to go play TFX. Bye. 80. That's it for this week, guys. Next week, EA's Theme Park comp keeps on throbbing. We've got more games, more reviews, more.